Very, very good afternoon to you. Billy Hui with you right here on BBC Radio Merseyside. So, what is it like to represent King Charles III in our local area? What does the role involve? How do you get selected? To help answer these questions and more, it's my pleasure to welcome onto the show the newly appointed His Majesty's Lord Lieutenant of Merseyside, Peter Oliver, OBE. Lord Lieutenant, welcome onto the show.
Billy, thank you. And thank you for the very warm welcome. And Happy New Year to you and
Happy
to all the
New-
listeners as well.
Yes,
I was listening earlier. I think we're allowed to say that until mid-January, something like that.
You sure?
I think so.
Well, if the Lord Lieutenant said that,
then it must be fine.
It must be fine. It must be absolutely fine. So there you go. Most people know that I'm High Sheriff as well. So we've actually got the two representatives in our various roles one studio.
Yeah.
But I've got different hats on today, obviously, today. So it's congratulations to you as well, not only on Happy New Year, but on being selected for this role.
Thank you. That's kind. Shall I tell you a little bit about the process? Because it's not a role that you can apply for.
No.
So obviously our former Lord Lieutenant of Merseyside, Mark Blundell, was coming towards retirement age in December. So at the beginning of last year, we can say last year now, we started the process, or the Cabinet Office started the process to search for the next Lord Lieutenant of Merseyside. And they run a local consultation, and that consultation asks a wide range of stakeholders, what do you think the county needs, and who do you think could fulfil the role? Eventually they get to the point of developing a shortlist who they then interview and then ask you if you'd be willing to be proposed to the King as the next Lord Lieutenant. So that process took place in the first half of last year, and then we spent the second half beginning the preparations. So as I say, not a role that you can apply for, and therefore not really a role that you can prepare for in life either, and it's a big voluntary role, and it does take up a lot of time, but it's such an exciting opportunity, and everywhere I look I see opportunity for how we can make a difference in our community.
And that's why you've been selected, you say? Because you can see that opportunity. So for people that may not know, what is a Lord Lieutenant?
So a Lord Lieutenant, every county has one. The role dates back to the 1500s under the reign of Henry VIII. You are the King's personal representative in the county. You're supported by a Vice Lord Lieutenant and a team of Deputy Lieutenants, and they're all voluntary as well. We have a small office with a clerk and a secretary, and we have the role of supporting the royal households with the organisation of royal visits, encouraging applications and nominations for national honours, for King's Awards for Enterprise, for King's Awards for Voluntary Service. We bring community groups together. We look for opportunities to connect individuals and organisations where collaboration might just make something special happen, because we have that broad-ranging remit. And also, unusually for us, because Merseyside is part of the Duchy of Lancaster historically, we also have access to the Duchy of Lancaster Benevolent Fund, and we receive an allocation of funding quarterly to be able to make small grants to community groups in Merseyside of up to about £5,000. So we're also able to provide practical hands-on funding support as well for community groups who are looking to just make something different happen.
So it's a big job, isn't it? It's a voluntary role, like you said.
Voluntary role.
But it's a big job. Are you still sort of working as well? In fact, are you still like doing like your daytime job as such?
Yeah, I mean, I work independently, so I'm in control of my diary, so I've got the ability to work that out as this goes on. It's a long-term role, so I mean, you're normally appointed until you're 75. You retire at 75, and so I'm 46. So it's a long-term role. I doubt I'll do it till I'm 75, but it'll be up to me how long it's for. But it's got to work alongside the remainder of my career. But as I say, I'm in control of the diary. I'll plan to work probably a couple of days a week, and the rest of the time we'll dedicate to the role and working out how we as a Merseyside Lieutenancy team can best support our communities and the people of Merseyside.
So, you told us about the role, what you're going to do, the opportunities that you've got out there as well, which you've already sort of like identified some, but there's always going to be plenty more that you'll be able to identify as you go through the journey. What about from a personal level then? How does it feel?
How does it feel? Well, I think it's a great honour, but I think it's really important to remember that the role is all about service. So it is a great honour. You, as I say, you can't easily prepare for it, so you're still getting your head around it. So it's slightly daunting in a way. But a great honour, great opportunity. We're going to need the support of everyone. So I think if you just take a couple of those themes that we talked about earlier, so national honours, for example, we were fortunate that we had around about 20 recipients of national honours in the New Year's honours. And if you look at the range of topics that they were awarded for, everything from entrepreneurship, from research and life sciences, to delivering services for young people. There's a whole range of people who received honours, but there are more deserving. And so the more that we can do as a team to work with the people of Merseyside to support them to submit nominations for people who they think deserve honours, then I think that's an area that excites me and interests me.
It is important, that, isn't it? Because with the honour system, with the medals and with the the MBEs and the BEMs and you've got an OBE as well, is that with those honour systems, a lot of people says, oh, no, we would never get anywhere near that. We wouldn't be able to get... I thought that when I received my BEM, I did not expect it at all. And we need to encourage people to say, well, actually, if somebody's really making a difference somewhere and going over and above, you need to put the names in for this. And it's for, we want to encourage more people.
Yeah, we
to do this.
And, it's each of us who've got that power and that influence and that knowledge. I remember having a conversation with somebody, it was a few years ago now, and they were talking about somebody that they felt was really deserving. And they said, but they're just waiting for the hand of God to touch them. And I said, you do realise that you are the person. That if you can tell that individual story because you know everything that they've done, then you are the person who can make that happen for them. So put pen to paper, submit a nomination, contact a few people and get some letters of support. I mean, look, you do need to make sure that they're based on the evidence of the impact that somebody's made in their field or in their community. Support that with facts and with figures. We do really need to articulate the clear impact, but you can do it. Any of us can do it. So definitely have a look. If you know of somebody who you think is deserving of recognition in a national honour, then have a look online. I think the process is far easier than you might think.
It is.
And we can help. We've got a team of people who can help. If you need some help and support, just contact the Merseyside Lieutenancy. We would love the opportunity to support, and that's what we're there for.
Yeah.
And there's the other areas as well, Billy, which we may well talk about, or things like King's Award for Voluntary Service, which is the MBE equivalent for voluntary groups.
For groups, that's right. It's wonderful, isn't it? And you can have you put the logo on all your stuff, and it just shows you're working at a certain level. It helps
awarded for life as well. So, and it's a similar process. If you think that there's a community group who deserves King's Award for Voluntary Service, predominantly led by volunteers, then make a nomination, begin to tell their story, and then we'll pick up the rest. There's an initial sift down with the government team in London, and then they dispatch them out to the lieutenancies for us to do the assessment. So we'll then pick up the majority of the work, but get a nomination in. So if you know a voluntary-led community group who you think is deserving of recognition, look up King's Award for Voluntary Service, get a nomination in.
Absolutely. So you said before that sort of like you've only just stepped into the role, really, so it's very, very recently.
Yeah, I think we're in week 3.
Yeah,
I think
it's very recent. And Mark Blundell, of course, had a wonderful time, just under a decade's worth of time as Lord Lieutenant.
He did.
Retired when he was 75, on his 75th birthday, and handed it over to you, obviously. So Mark has done a remarkable sort of like work over the last sort of like 8 years, hasn't he? Really?
Yes, yeah.
And whenever it is that you decide that you're going to step down and pass it on to the next person, what would you like to be your legacy here on Merseyside?
Well, that's a good question. Aren't you supposed to give me warning of taxing questions?
That's
like
not
that?
taxing
that's
question.
The whole point of it, isn't it? What would I like to be the legacy? Do you know, we've just been talking about some of the themes. Yeah. I'd like to think that we increase recognition so that we play our role for the people and communities of Merseyside to increase recognition of individuals and of groups, voluntary groups and enterprises through those awards. That we've continued to build on royal visits, so supporting members of the royal family to come and celebrate the success, the things that we know that are good in Merseyside and that we love about Merseyside, and that we bring, if possible, some more of our communities together to build greater community cohesion. Because I just think that that's where we have the opportunity to connect individuals and organisations who may have different views and different perspectives, but to find areas of commonality and to build stronger communities right across this county.
That would be a great legacy to leave behind.
And 3 weeks in, it's a bit early to be sure, isn't it? Can you ask me again in a few years and see if it's
I'll
refined?
I'll try and ask you again in a few years. Thank you very much for taking time to have a little chat with us. Tell us about your role and the lieutenancy and what you're already starting to achieve now. You've done so much already in 3 weeks.
That's kind. Thanks for having us on.
No, thank you very much. His Majesty's Lord Lieutenant of Merseyside, Peter Oliver, OBE. Thank you so much.
Billy Hui. BBC